Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mangelson here, bringing you a Diablo 4 things you should know video, right? This isn't going to go over the top 10 things or anything like that, but I just want to let you know, starting off with this video, that your build by level 34, your base build should be established. That is going through your core skills, your main mana generators, your defensive skills. You're between 34 and 46 is when you should be respecking, and that's when that should be happening, because reallocating a point here, two or there, it isn't going to be too expensive. But once you start really hunkering down and putting more points into the board, things are going to get quite expensive. And if your build is bad, if your build isn't working, then you need to go back to basics. What I mean is that you need to focus your build around a core ability instead of trying to focus it around like a mastered ability or a key passive, because if the build is bad, then the build is bad. And this build is bad. The one that I'm using right now, the one that I'm using in this video, this is a bad build. The way that I had it going around, it was focused around a mastered, the mastery of Blizzard. But what I needed it to be focused around was the mastery of something else, one of my core skills, Frost Orb maybe, right? So looking at my core skills, I had the enhanced, I had an enchantment on for my ice shards, and I had the enchantment on for ice blades. Overall, I like ice, the reactive part of it for ice shards. I even looked up YouTubers to even see how my build was going bad. Starter guides here, beginner guides there, everywhere between Riker to IGN, and I just looked over my build and things weren't adding up. So in the end, I had to ask myself a simple question: why is the build bad, and how do I fix it? Now, if I look over my build real quick, I have a little bit more of an updated type of build here, but I actually have a legendary now that actually works with the main damage dealer that I'm actually using now, which is Blizzard, which I've always used Blizzard, but I actually have a legendary to use with Blizzard now. So,
what more would you have me do? Tell me. Please. Tell me.
So for some of the harder boss fights, I actually ended up doing that. I ended up going back to using ice shards as the main DPS. It was quicker to use. It was more, I guess, efficient. But the playstyle was just kind of boring to me. Just like it was just like rapid fire off ice shards, and it burned through my mana. I really didn't feel like I was moving around in the whole space of the map or whatever like that, right? So looking over some things in the game, going over what legendaries look like, what uniques look like, right, and what they actually serve a purpose to do. As you can see, the legendary gear and the unique gear look quite different. The shades of red, right? It's not too big of a distinction, but it's a distinction nonetheless. Now, if we go into looking about the enchantment of items, right? So you can enchant various items. You can't extract a piece of, you can't extract the unique trait from a piece of gear. But when you enchant an item, right, as you can see the cost for enchantment for this legendary piece of gear, this is actually just a base, a legendary piece of gear. You take some Fiend Roses, you're going to get those in Hell Tides, and it's going to be 78,000 gold, and then you get to pick one affix, I think that's what they're called, properties or whatever passives on here, which you actually want to change. And you can see that if you do it on a gold piece of gear, whether that gold piece of gear is ancient, sacred, or what have you, don't know if you can drop ancient, I'm only world tier 3, but on sacred pieces of gear, even if it's gold, it's going to cost less. It's going to cost a lot less. It's going to cost some hell shards or some fire shards or whatever like that, but you want to go ahead and change some of the passives on there in order to get the cheaper cost. So this uses Forgotten Souls. So Sacreds use Forgotten Souls. So regular gold pieces use just the Flame Shards. Sacreds use Fiend Souls or whatever, Fiend Shards. Now, still, it's 20,000 gold cheaper. Uses a more gettable resource, right? And you'll be able to roll it a few times. But once you do, you got to understand that an enchanted item will bind it to your account and making it untradeable. So you can't make a god piece of gear, a god tier level piece of gear, then go ahead and give it to your friend. And then you get to see what different types of changes you'll be able to make to that. No change, that change. So keep what you already have, change it with something else. And as you're going to see, you're going to be wanting intelligence, you're going to be wanting dexterity, you're going to be wanting willpower, you're going to be wanting these arbitrary stats to boost yourself up in order to advance in the ability skill tree, which is going to be your paragon point levels, because you can't add certain glyphs without having certain thresholds met for progressing in that paragon board. So as you can see, I need 200 intelligence in order to progress and add a glyph and keep it moving, but I only have 144, so I need to figure out where to get that extra 60 ish 50 something intelligence in order to bring it up. Now, what can and cannot roll on a piece of gear? I wasted a lot of time here, but I'm showing you here now. Wasted a lot of time here trying to get rid of that strength in order to add intelligence. I was like, well, if you can roll strength, maybe you can roll intelligence. Maybe it can, but the pool of what it can roll on it and what's gonna change when I changed it out was too wild for me to know to even think that I should keep rolling this piece of gear. But as you can see, it is just a legendary focus. It takes a Fiend Rose, and then to enchant it again, that thing went up to 448,000 to re-roll it again. And I was just like, well, I got 8,000 gold, so I can re-roll it again. And I didn't even get close to what I wanted, so it was a wash nonetheless. I didn't get anything better on it. I feel, and I didn't get anything really worse on it. But just know when you enchant, it's kind of like I'm messing with this because I like it that much. Now I'm going to leave you with what I would call some words of wisdom here, and we're just going to let this fight play out in the background of me fighting this guy, the guy that mollywopped me so many times, right? But don't go out there and just go copy a YouTuber's build per se, because in this game of Diablo, as far as any ARPG type of game, your playstyle is going to be significantly different than what they use. You may end up liking ice shards. I like ice shards, but I didn't change my entire build to utilize this ice shard build to fit the fight. I kept summoning my ice blades, I kept my frost nova, I ended up keeping my avalanche for my key passive skill. Things may change in the future. Now, I'm not saying that these YouTubers out there are wrong in order to put out these build guide videos. Some people do like build guide videos. I myself is going to put out I'm going to put out build guide videos, but when you look at these build guide videos, take it for what it is. It is a build guide video. You may like some things about it, you may not like some things about it. You want to express yourself in your character, but if expressing yourself is completely copying somebody else, then by all means go for it. But what I'm saying is that if the build sucks, right? If the build sucks, so you go ahead and you go out there, you copy the YouTuber, the build sucks. Is it the build that sucks, or is it that the play style that comes with the build just isn't your cup of tea? Now, you can utilize a whole bunch of different things in the game when it comes to optimizing a build or making a build work, right? So it's up to you to figure out, is this going to be worth it, and is it going to fit my play style, right? More of my builds that are going to come later in the future are going to hone in on this key feature of playing the way that I want to, and I hope you guys do enjoy it. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.